All right, welcome to Win the Day live stream where we talk about how to win the day as a real estate agent. Today, I want to talk about expectations, met and unmet expectations, among other things, I guess. Yeah, potpourri. So I think the real estate world, if you're new, first of all, if you're new, I don't know, 2 years or newer into this business, let me just tell you this. I spent an hour in a meeting yesterday where they talked about how hard the market is. And I know we're getting tired about hearing how hard it is, but the number of transactions are the lowest they've been in 30 years. So if you're feeling like nothing's happening for you, it's because nothing's happening for you. Okay. Now, is there still work to get done? Yes, you can still do work, but there's so many fewer deals happening. I mean, you have to go back to 1995 to see the transactions on an equal level. So again, if you feel like you're missing something, you ain't missing something. Maybe you're missing your work boots. I don't know. That might be it.
There is a headwind.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And that's all right. Markets go up, markets go down, and you're in the market of the moment. So you got to deal with the market of the moment. But we're still new enough into this where the memories of 2002 and 2001 are still pretty fresh, where people were making a ton of money and feeling good and had all this stuff going on. That's not so far away or we don't remember it or it's a distant memory. It's a couple of years ago.
You mean 21?
So if you're going to be in real estate and if you're new, you better be able to manage your expectations because a couple of things are going to happen. If you're going to join a brokerage, your broker's going to tell you how people made X amount of money a couple of years ago. So-and-so made this and they did that and whatever. And there's all this action because you sell the best times. You don't say, oh my God, this thing's going to be incredibly hard. You'll never make it, but let's give it a try. It doesn't go that way, right? You go to the movie, you see the trailer for the movie, you see the best parts of the movie. You don't see the worst parts. Otherwise you wouldn't go to the movie, right? You girls have had babies. I have not, but I've lived through my side of that. It's amazing that anybody has more than one kid, right? But somehow it happens. But if you were to say, you know what, it's going to be this, and that, nobody'd ever have kids.
Right? Wait. I have to protest because when I've sat in a room with women, they love to tell the horror stories to the pregnant young lady.
There you go.
Freak her out.
Or if you're a drinker and you ever got sick from drinking too much and you found yourself, I will never do this again. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you're a whiskey salesperson and you say, you know what, it's going to be great. You're going to find yourself in a back alley puking your brains out, but go ahead and buy this whiskey. It's going to be great. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. And I mean, nobody goes into the expectation that they're going to end up in an alley puking their brains out. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. Yeah. So, and I'm not saying if you get in real estate, you're going to end up in an alley puking your brains out. But what I am saying right now, if you're getting into real estate, you better be prepared to be in an alley. No, you better be prepared to work twice as hard to get half as much as what they told you. All right. And you have to be prepared to know that right now is right now, but you're working right now for what's coming, the next market. You're working right now to establish your skills, your knowledge, your expertise to get through today such that when the market gets more and abundance is everywhere, you're sitting there like a person with 8 arms, grabbing as much as you want and can, right? That is the expectation you need to have. So if you're going into real estate now and you're not happy with the broker, you're not happy with your team lead, you're not happy with your coach, you're not happy with, I don't know, anything, be very slow to condemn them and be very quick to look at what am I bringing to the table? Am I bringing everything I can? Because at the end of the day, the broker, the team leader, the coach, the friend, the whatever is not responsible. You are. All right. So until you can say, I have done everything in my power to succeed, once you can say that honestly, then you can start complaining about your coach, your mentor, your team, your broker, your whatever with honesty. And I'm not saying every broker is giving you all they said they would. I'm not saying every team leader is giving you everything they promised. I'm not saying anything like that. What I am saying is you have control over you. So don't blame somebody else for your inadequacies. All right. And this comes up. I was reading about a guy who's mad about a team he's on. And because he wasn't getting the support or training or whatever. And the problem was he'd only been in the business for 3 or 4 months. And if you've only been in the business 3 or 4 months, you're a neophyte. I guess I would equate that. I was thinking, what would that be like? That'd be like my son, who's 8 years old, coming in and saying, Dad, I don't feel like I'm ready to take on the world. Okay, good. You're 8. You're not going to take on the world. Even as 17-year-old, I don't think I'm ready to take on the world. Yeah, you're 17. Here's what I can tell you. I've been doing this job for 20 years. I have the best coaching. I have the best resources. I have the best everything. And there are more than a few days where I come in and just go, what in the frick is going on? What's going on? Right? Nobody to call, nobody to no fire, no 911, none of that. It's just like, okay. And I look at a sign I have on the wall. It says, work the problem. Right? Our whole team learns this, work the problem. Right? We've talked about it here. Write it down so you understand the problem and then solve. Try something. It works or it doesn't. It doesn't. Next. Work it. Okay. So all I'm saying is buy the future. And if you're on the other side, sell the future. Okay. But provide enough and give enough and be true enough to survive now. Okay. Because I think there is a gap right here. No, not that one. There's a gap between expectation and reality that needs to be there. Otherwise, there would be no future, right? Life's hard. You start selling that to some people, the freaking suicide rate's going to go to the moon, right? Life's hard. Okay. Real estate's hard, really hard right now. And sometimes it's easy. But if you're smart and you work hard and you hold yourself accountable, you get coaches and that'll help you hold yourself accountable, right? Your accountability partner isn't responsible for holding you accountable. They're responsible to help you hold yourself accountable. Make sure you understand that. It's a whole different game.
That's a big difference.
It's a big difference. All right. This is a you business. All right. Now you can hire coaches, trainers, whatever. And if they tell you they're going to give you 85 leads an hour and they give you 84, well, figure out how to get the other one yourself, all that stuff. I don't know. So I could bitch about that for a minute. Here, I'm going to talk about something else and then we'll talk about it all as a whole. I got a gentleman, young kid, early 20s, 1, 2, maybe 3, 2, somewhere around there. Started this in the teeth of this worst. We're trying to sell condos, investment condos right now. And if you run Julie's numbers at it, I think, what is it, 30 or 40 is a good number?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Between
We're
30
minus 246. So it's a hard game. We're selling ice cream to Eskimos over here, right? But he's in there grinding. Because I tell you what, that ice cream cone melts down into a nice milkshake, and pretty soon the sun comes out and people are eating our ice cream and drinking our milkshakes. All right, we're going to wait for that, and we're going to make a heck ton of money when that happens. But we're going to pay the price until then. We're going to stand in line at Disney to get on that damn ride, and it's going to be fun as hell, right? And you know what? We're going to get back in line and we're going to do it again, because that's the way we roll, right? I'm not going to go run over to somewhere else where there's not another line and then try to figure out if the ride's fun or not or worth the wait. Okay. Not going to do it that way. But anyway, so this gentleman comes in, he's working hard. He's putting in his time. He's asking questions when he has questions. He's doing what he's told. He's doing all that. And he's getting listings and he's got a couple deals. And he put another one together yesterday. And this was a magic trick in the sense that seller wanted a lot of money, buyer didn't. He had the buyer. They made a low offer, seller countered, buyer countered, seller countered, buyer countered, and then they were just looking at each other. Wait, there's an assessment. All right, counter. No, we're going to keep it. Forget it. We're walking. We don't want, right? I mean, for like a week. and today it's under contract. Okay. And what's the lesson? What's the lesson? Without thinking, never give up. He says, never give up. And it reminds me of Susie Kirkland, a great agent, long-time super agent. She recently passed. I miss you already, Susie. Unbelievable agent. When I first got into this business, I remember doing a deal. I did a lot of deals with her. She was a really good agent. She said, just hit the ball back to me, honey. And that's not what she sounded like, but that's what she said. Honey, hit the ball back to me. Maybe that's where we're like, yeah, honey, hit the ball back. Is a tennis match to her, right? Bring me an offer. Just hit the ball to me and I'll hit it back to you. And we'll keep playing this until we get this deal together. And that's a lesson I learned. It's one no deal's dead. It's never dead. Well, I'm going to work the problem, right? He learned that lesson, right? So I don't know if you ever heard this, if it's a Southern thing or it's a world thing or whatever, but it's not meant to be. I'm saying BS. If you made the effort to make an offer, it's meant to be. Shame on you for not working it, right? We're going to work this thing out. Just tell me the problem. What's the problem? We'll come up with a solution. And it's good. It's good. So yeah, that's what I got. Who wants to talk to any of that?
Well, the first thing that strikes me is I always say, don't pull a Harrell. And what I mean by that is
Weird
growing
Harold
up,
from
I had
the Albert gang?
I had a classmate growing up and his name was Harrell, not a D, just 2 L's on the end. And bless his heart, that's what you say in the South. He had the misfortune of being called Harrell and looking like Barney Fife, which when you're in high school and you look like Barney Fife and your name is Harrell, it's tough. And we're sitting in a class and we had to turn in an assignment. And the teacher said, Harrell, where's your assignment? And he went, she didn't do it. She goes, no. Where's your assignment? He goes, she didn't do it. And finally the teacher said, who's she? My mom didn't do the assignment for me. So not only was he Harold, not only did he look like Barney Fife, but his mama was doing his homework for him. And he never lived that down. And I think in real estate, there are a lot of people that pull Harolds. My broker didn't do it for me. My team lead didn't do it for me. They and it's all looking at this. And in recovery language, it's clean your own side of the street before you start worrying about the other side of the street. And don't look at somebody else doing it until you've done everything on your side of the street.
100%. Destiny, you got any add on that?
Not a whole bunch. I think this is one of those conversations I'm just going to sit and soak it all in. I don't really have too much input. I think I've not been seasoned enough to have a whole lot to say. I definitely do understand the concept of, doing the work. I do think a lot of newer agents think the work is going to be handed to them. Leads are going to be given to them. I feel so much more rewarded knowing I did the work to get that lead. And I get to see these people go to the closing table because of the work I did on the front end.
I don't think it's exclusive to new agents. I think it's more exclusive to agents that are not succeeding at the level they want to succeed at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she didn't do it. He didn't do it. They didn't do it.
Yeah.
I think it's proper expectations. It's proper expectations for ourselves, and it's proper expectations for our clients. One of the things we talked about yesterday when we talked about pricing is having proper expectations. And when you list a property, for example, and you tell them this is what's happening in the market, and this is the trend, and this is what we should expect. We should expect 400 plus viewings from this app. We should expect 5 in-person showings. We should expect, and you set it up. And if we don't get those things on Monday morning, we're going to talk about how far off the mark we missed it so that the client knows that they need to change something. It's not us begging for it. And in terms of what we do right now, the market is hard, but you got to look at it and say, okay, now's a great time to become a better professional, to refine our systems, to be working on our protocols, to getting better at, what we're doing, and just to revise our goals and set expectations for ourselves. One of my favorite books, and I know I've mentioned it on this podcast before, is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. And I highly recommend it, especially in a time like this. He basically says everything that happens is my fault. Because when 100%. You say everything's my fault, it's no one else's fault. When you say it's someone else's fault, you're giving away your strength and your power. because if it's their fault, you can't fix it. You have no control over anything. You're just a victim. And, you know, when you say, here's what I did to get to this place, then you can choose to do things differently. Or here's what I did not do. So you just, you know, have an accountability partner, have written goals, and then the role of your accountability partner is to hold you capable to achieve your goals. So it's not try to make you do what you didn't do. It's holding up a mirror in front of you and showing you the actions that you did or did not do that align with or do not align with your written goals, holding you capable to achieve your own goals.
You know, I love words, and one of the words that jump out is responsibility. And if you think about that and you break it down, is I have the ability to choose the response. I don't have the ability to choose your response. And I may, if I take responsibility, realize that my abilities are lacking, and I go to work on my abilities, not changing yours. And at the end of the day, same thing with accountability. I have the ability to give an account. If I'm sucking at that, I need to work on my abilities, which always comes back to ownership of, am I always working on my abilities? We are in a skills-based market. And if you're not spending time daily working on your abilities, it's going to suck.
Let me be clear. It's harder than it was, which makes it hard. But if you're comparing it to, say, 20 years ago, the price points are significantly higher. You can make a lot more money than you could back then. Yeah. So it's relative in that regard. But there are simply fewer transactions than there has been in the recent past, going back 10 years, right? So there's fewer transactions, which makes it by default, I suppose, harder.
You have to scrap harder for the ones that are
for the ones that are there. And there's more realtors fighting for the.
That's the point I was going to make. We have more realtors than ever. We have over 60,000 realtors in our market.
But 58,714 of them are not working very hard. So if you can't beat them, well, then shame on you is my point.
Right.
But at any rate, what I want to say is this. It starts with you. All right. And if you're not happy with your team, your broker, your whomever, cool. Give yourself enough time. Oh, here's one thing. We go to school from kindergarten to 12th grade. Is that typically the way it works?
Generally.
Right. And then what? We go to post high school and get another 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. And then some of us go even longer. Some of you go even longer and get a graduate degree. And even longer, get doctorate, all that stuff. Years and years and years and years to get good, to get great.
Maybe.
Realtors get great when they pass that frickin' test.
Right.
Right? With a 70-degree pass or fail thingy or whatever, right? And that you can take as many times as you need to. Passing that test does not make you great. That gets you in the door.
Yeah.
All right? And so it takes years. Okay. You've probably all heard the Pablo Picasso story, right? Where he's sitting in a cafe and a woman comes up to him. Are you the famous painter, Pablo Picasso? Yes, I am. Will you draw me a picture on this napkin? Sure. And he knocks out this picture and he says, that'd be $5,000. $5,000. It took you 5 minutes. Yeah, but it took me a lifetime to learn how to do that.
That's
right. It's the same thing here. When you're talking to a team lead, a successful this person or that person, all right, they didn't start out day 14 at that. They didn't start out day 45 of that, month 6 of that. They're there now. All right. And there's a lot of scars between where you are as a new one and where they are giving advice, unless they're either super lucky or lying, which pick your poison. Does that make sense to y'all?
John, I've told the story before, but I went to college, I went to grad school, I finished grad school, and I went to the #1 therapist in the time. I had a degree in therapy.
What's their number?
Yeah, I need to call him. And but I asked to work with him. He said, I don't have a position. I said, I will give you 10 hours a week of work, no pay, for 1 hour a week of your mentorship, your supervision. And he said, you do that for free? I said, no, I'll do that for an hour. And that set me, and I'm holding in my hand an old journal. I'm unpacking, and I came across May 19th, 1995, saw Jim Rohn, and he said, ideas are more valuable than money can buy. It's the difference between cost and worth. And if you're new in real estate, and new's relative, the ideas are more important. Don't get caught in the paycheck, the splits, or anything. Is where am I going to go? Who can I surround myself?
Where's my future?
It's my investing in my worth, not my immediate paycheck.
Yep.
Get your mind off cost. Get it onto worth.
If where you're at is not going to provide a future, you should leave. But be very, very careful. The grass ain't greener necessarily. Sometimes it is.
Just, I would say, embrace the market, embrace every market and adjust to it. This is a market for professionals. People are still buying and selling.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to get in front of the people who are buying and selling and be glad. And I'm not saying this in a, too bad for them kind of way, but that it's hard, because the people who are only in the market when it's easy and they take away market share from you, they're getting out.
Mm-hmm.
So
in droves,
people work with the person who's in front of them and shows them that they're a hard worker. So be that person, be in front of the people, and you will close deals.
Yep. Okay. Last word. Destiny, you got a last word?
No, I just say, I think the most important thing is to also be accountable to yourself. Look at yourself every day in the mirror and ask, did you show up today for yourself? I think that's
Does
important.
self be true?
Absolutely. And then find somebody else to be accountable to that's going to hold you to what you said you were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would say.
Kyle says, I love the saying, John Moran is great. Those who know don't talk. Those that talk don't know. Which reminds me to always hang around people whose actions speak louder than anything. Those winning and succeeding in real estate, also mentally, financially, raising kids correct, respecting their marriage, etc., lead by example. And it speaks loud. Perfect. Love it. Okay. After that, Mark, what do you have to say?
I think he summed it up very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Jules?
Yeah, I would just say plant the seeds and you'll be reaping later.
Yep. So here, I'm going to finish it up with this. All y'all, new, old, everything in between. Take a look at where your future is, where you want to go. All right. And right now is not your future. Right now is right now. Take a look at where your future is and where you want to go. Look around. Who is going to best help you get there? Hang out with those folks, right? Maybe there aren't around you. Maybe you got to go find them, but find them. And I'm talking about folks in your future. Like Kyle said, financial future, your marriage future, how to be a better parent future, whatever it is, whatever your future is, because right now is right now. That's going to be in the past quite quickly. So be true to yourself, like Destiny has said, right? Hold yourself to account, because as much as you like to think everybody else cares what you're doing, it's you. At the end of the day, it's you. Even your biggest fans are going to fade eventually. So be your biggest fan. All right? Let's go to work. Have a future, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.